On April 1st, 2003, a video was uploaded onto the internet. This single video spawned a 14-season web show that is to this day praised for its originality, humor, and innovation. This one video created one of the biggest internet sensations ever, of all time. That video was the first episode of a show called Red vs. Blue. But why? Why did this show become so successful? How did it touch so many hearts? How did it influence both internet video and machinima? Well, I'm here to find out. Join me as I review every season of Red vs. Blue, starting with Season 1, obviously. Let's get to it.
Hey. Yeah? You ever wonder why we're here?
Red vs. Blue was created in Austin, Texas by Bernie Burns, Matt Holm, Jeff Ramsey, etc. It was made using the video game Halo Combat Evolved in a process called machinima. While it was not the first production to do this, it is by far the most popular and the most influential. And no other machinima production or web series has reached this level of popularity. It may not look like much now, the audio quality isn't very good and the camera work isn't anything special. It's very clear in these early episodes that they were still figuring out the most effective way to do this, but you can already see them trying to find creative ways to get the story across. But really, none of that mattered, as the main aspect of the show is the writing.
Go ahead and hop in, Tucker.
Me? I can't drive that thing.
You're telling me you're not armor certified?
I don't even know how to use the fucking sniper rifle. Don't you know how to drive that?
No? Holy crap! Who is running this army?
And the writing is fantastic. It's fast-paced, hit-or-miss humor that hits way more often than it misses. From the first episode, you can tell that this show is about as self-aware as it gets.
No, but I mean, even if we were to pull out today, and they were to come take our base, they would have two bases in the middle of a box canyon. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
It's the kind of writing that makes a story set in one of the most dull environments you could possibly be in never have a dull moment. And a lot of that should be credited to the characters. They may not seem like much now, but by the end of the season you'd be able to identify them by personality alone.
You know how to fix Sheila? I love you.
So what's the story? At this point, it's pretty simple. You've got two opposing teams who occupy two bases in the middle of a boxed canyon called Blood Gulch. Neither team knows why they're fighting, and none of them really want to, with the exception of Sarge, the red team's sergeant. Instead of advancing the plot through action, we mostly advance through dialogue and jokes. Alright, we got the basics out of the way. Let's get into the story.
Sirs? Sirs? Oh, crap. I was told to report to Blood Gulch Outpost number 1. What is that?
The first two episodes don't do much except establish the premise and style, while foreshadowing future events. The plot really starts with the arrival of two rookies, Donut for the Reds and Caboose for the Blues.
Excuse me, sir? Can I ask you a question?
Dear God in heaven, rookie.
Of course, both teams are so annoyed by their new recruits that they give them meaningless tasks to keep them busy for a couple of hours. You know, of course. This results in Caboose, thinking Donut is the blue team's general, giving Donut, who thinks he's at the store, the blue team's flag. When Church and Tucker, the other two members of blue team, find out, they attempt to get the flag back from Donut, while Griffin Simmons of red team try to get Donut back to red base. So basically, the entire plot of this show is started when a guy named Donut gets a flag from a guy on the opposing army named Caboose because he thought he was at the store. If you can't find the humor in that, this show is clearly not for you. Naturally, with these idiots in charge, both plans go horribly wrong. Griffin Simmons attempt to attack the Blues, but end up pointlessly shooting rocks in their Jeep. Meanwhile, Caboose tries to use the tank that nobody knows how to drive, and even with a helpful training program named Sheila, ends up doing more harm than good. To his credit, he does manage to blow up the Warthog, sending the Reds running back to their base. However, as Church stands up to congratulate him...
What? Oh, son of a bitch. Something I need to tell
Caboose
you.
accidentally kills him. In case you didn't notice, he's kind of dumb. Eventually, Sarge returns and manages to take out the tank with an airstrike. Defeated, Caboose and Tucker head back to their base. Fortunately, Donut managed to hold on to the flag, so I guess we can count this as a victory for the red team? It's as close as we'll ever get anyway. With Lopez, the red team's robot who was somehow built by Sarge, fixing the Warthog, we can finally settle down from our first battle? Yeah, it doesn't sound right. Back at Blue Base, Tucker radios command, trying to get more men.
Dude, how long have you guys been down there?
No, not like that. We need more men to help us.
Command sends a freelancer, a soldier who fights for whichever side has the most money, named Tex. But before he arrives, Church appears as a ghost. And trust me, that is not the strangest thing you'll see on this show. Church warns them that Tex is an insane murderer who stole his girlfriend and apparently beat someone to death with their own skull, which doesn't seem physically possible.
That's exactly what Jimmy kept screaming. This doesn't seem physically possible!
He warns the two not to let Tex help before fading away. Well, I'm sure that's the last we'll see of him. Tex arrives, and after using Caboose as target practice, goes over to the red base to get the flag back. Great job, Tucker. You didn't listen to Church whatsoever. Nah, I can't blame him. Church appears again and yells at Tucker and Caboose because, that's super effective.
This is so typical. What was the one thing I told you guys the last time I appeared?
That Sidewinder is called?
Meanwhile, Tex sneaks around red base and after heavily injuring Donut with a sticky grenade and causing Simmons to faint.
Up and
Whoa, wait. I did not faint. Something knocked me out.
Okay.
He breaks inside, only to be captured by Sarge. When the Blues find out about this, Church gets even more upset. When questioned by Tucker, Church reveals that Tex is actually his former girlfriend.
Oh, great. You broke my voice filter.
What a twist. And not really. Church, Caboose, and Tucker hatch a plan to rescue her, with Tucker and Caboose running around the canyon posing as freelancers, and Church possessing Sarge and freeing Tex. Oddly enough, doesn't seem to care that Church is a ghost.
You're not surprised by any of this?
No, it pretty much all makes sense.
Guess these things are just normal around Blood Gulch? Things seem to be going surprisingly well when...
We're gonna be best friends.
Alright, I'll make one more distraction, then you run up to the teleporter and escape. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What the? Where did my body go? Oh, you've gotta be...
Caboose shoots Sarge, effectively killing Church. Again. Don't worry about Sarge, though. Griff manages to save him with CPR for a bullet wound. Yeah, this is the first use of an unwritten rule in the RVB. If a plot point doesn't make sense, make a joke out of it.
Griff, why in hell would you give somebody a CPR for a bullet wound in the head?
Now that Tex is free, Church reveals to Caboose and Tucker that Tex isn't just some mercenary. She apparently got recruited into some experimental project called Project Freelancer. They put an AI called Omega into her helmet, which helps her run her invisibility, fight in battle, and be an overall unpleasant person. Well, more than she already is.
Oh, hell no. She's always been a rotten bitch. It's just that now she's a rotten bitch with cybernetic enhancements.
Church resolves to get the AI out of her head and has her fix the tank to stall her. Of course, she ends up fixing it early and drives over to Red Base to,
Kill everybody.
With no other choice, Church possesses Lopez to try and warn the Reds of Tex's attack.
Ay, muchachos, necesite darle un aviso. ¿Qué? ¿Por qué estoy hablando español? Yo no puedo hablar español.
Unfortunately, when Sarge implanted the speech unit into Lopez earlier, he accidentally broke it, meaning that Lopez, from now until the end of time, will only speak Spanish.
Buenos dias.
Naturally, the Reds can't understand a word that Church is saying, and since he apparently can't appear to them as a ghost, fails to warn them before Tex shows up and fires upon the base. For a moment, things seem hopeless, but Donut, now sporting pink...
It's not pink. It's like, a lightish red.
Lightish red armor due to his previous encounter with Tex, arrives. And since he's obviously not happy with her, he throws a sticky grenade across the map.
Man, that girl's got a really good arm.
And hits Tex right in the face. She and the tank both explode. Church, still in Lopez's body, runs over to her. She tells him that the AI is gone and dies. Of course, in this world, that is apparently not such a big deal. However, as we end the season, Caboose starts to act odd, calling himself O'Malley. And that's season 1. What was intended to be a 6-episode project spawned 14 years worth of content, and it's pretty easy to see why. We've already established the style of humor, and we were already developing our characters' personalities. And it'll only get better from here. Join me next time as we continue to search for the answer to the question, why are we here?